Welcome to today's segment of the Know Your Candidate digital campaign. And in today's segment, we are so excited to be hosting one of the candidates running for Member of Parliament in Busongora North constituency. It's my pleasure to introduce to you our guest on the segment today. Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
How are you and how is the campaign so far?
Generally, I'm okay. And the campaigns are moving on well. I am optimistic that I am going to defeat these other four contenders.
Okay.
Very optimistic.
That is interesting to learn. And now, in a nutshell, how would you introduce yourself to a random person in Busongora North?
Well, I am William Nzoghu, the incumbent MP for Busongora County North, Kasese District. I hold a master's degree in development studies. I hold a bachelor's degree, urban and regional planning. I also hold a diploma in education secondary of the Institute of Teacher Education, Jambogo. I have worked in a number of fields and organizations. I've worked with World Vision as a manager for Southwestern Uganda.
Oh, that's impressive.
I've also worked with Goli International, where I worked as a program officer in charge of Rwenzori, Sub-Region, and Toro. I also worked with Kasese District Development Network as a program officer and also in charge of monitoring and evaluation. I've also worked with the Diocese of South Rwenzori as a manager for the diocesan microfinance.
Wow, that's quite something.
I have also worked with and in partnership with Save the Children. When I was working with Kasese District Development Network, I was the one coordinating the activities for Save the Children in Kasese.
In Kasese. Wow.
And I have also taught in a number of schools. I've taught in King Jesus College Mubuku. I also taught in Chabarungira Vocational Secondary School. I've also taught at Kabatunda Primary School. So precisely, that's what I have been and that's what I am. I stay in Kabatunda Town Council.
That's where your family is based.
That's where my family is based. And it has been upgraded to town council status.
Yes. Because
previously it has been a trading center.
Yes.
But now it is a town council. And I can clearly say that I am a Christian who responds and respects Christian values. I am married and I am serving currently as the Member of Parliament for Busongora County North. That is for 2016-2021.
Oh.
Yep.
That is very, very interesting to learn about this rich background in academia and in community service and community development. It's no wonder you did a master in development studies.
Yep.
It must have been motivated by your desire to see a change in the community. And now that we have a background of your academics, your service in the community and your family life, what are those core principles and values that motivate your decision making or upon which your life is based?
My values and the principles can be seen and can be observed with me. One of the things that I actually cherish is being sincere to myself.
Yes.
I don't pretend in my life. If it is a no in a particular matter, I will tell you I stand for a no on that particular matter. If it is a yes, I will tell you it is a yes and to remain a yes.
Yes.
So I am sincere to myself. I don't just go for anything. Number two, I also feel and respect other people's views. That when you speak to me, I'll give you a listening ear, and I will try to crystallize what actually you are trying to deliver to me. And so I listen to people. I have that value of listening to people.
Yes.
And understanding the dimension in which they are trying to talk to me. And the other aspect is that I am an open and transparent person.
Yes.
You will not cajole me into anything. You will not have any price that you tag on me to buy me on any matter, or to even corrupt me on any matter. I always speak the voice of the people. In my leadership and throughout my childhood, I feel very encouraged to stand on the principle of accountability and sincerity and self-discipline. Those are some of the core values that I cherish as an individual. Yes.
Now that we've had this rich insight into your academic background, your professional background, and your service in the community, I am sure that the people of Busongora constituency North are curious to learn about those values and motivations upon which your life is hinged, those values and motivations upon which your decision making is hinged. It's true that you really have a reputation for standing by your word, for being somebody that does not speak words they do not mean. It's something that you're known for, and I'm sure the voters of Busongora North constituency, even the people of Uganda, because you parliamentarians are national leaders, are able to see these traits in you and appreciate them. So now,
and that's why they vote me.
Yes. You are an incumbent. I want to believe that it's because you are an incumbent currently. Yeah. So now that we have this information, it begs the question of an overview of what you seek to achieve for the people of Busongora North constituency from 2021 to 2026 if you are elected to become a member of parliament, and probably an overview of your achievements so far in parliament. What are those things you feel you've been able to achieve, and what are those things you seek to achieve going forward?
As an incumbent, I've had a number of achievements and also a number of roadblocks. Let me begin with, first of all, what was the baseline before I actually took over office as a member of parliament for Busongora County North? Where was Busongora North? One, we had only 2 government-aided secondary schools.
Only 2?
Yes, in the entire constituency.
Wow.
And that is Renzori High School in Uganda Chanya Town Council, and also Kuruhe High School. So basically, you look at all those students in Busongora County North, and also those ones outside Busongora County North. If they wish to join schools in Busongora County North, they would only be admitted in only 2 government-aided secondary schools. Now, what have I actually done in respect to that? As I speak right now, I have managed to lobby for 4 government-aided secondary schools.
4? Wow.
We have Maliba Secondary School, Ugandabara Vocational Secondary School, Chibanzanga High School, and Wesumbu CD Secondary School. Now, when you therefore add these secondary schools to the 2 secondary schools which are found in existence, now we can proudly talk about 6 government-aided secondary schools. And secondly, on the issue of electricity, I would only, and the people of Busongora North would only test this electricity when they are either in Mubuku or Hima or Gendabara or Chikongo. Those were the only areas, and in Bugoye it was only in a camp for the workers of the power station. You can now proudly talk about power in Bugoye, including extending power to Nyakalingijo. You can now proudly talk about power in Mariba. We have power in Kitsuamba. We have power in Chitroma in Buhera sub-county. We also have power in Chabarungira sub-county and Kabatuna town council. And in all the 13 sub-counties that I have in Busongora County North, it is only one sub-county, Wesumbu, which doesn't have power right now. But what are we doing? We are making sure that also power is extended there. And as I speak right now, the survey has been concluded, and any time the putting up of electric poles will be commencing very soon. And in terms of roads, we have had a number of achievements in terms of road infrastructure. I want to begin with Bugoye. There are a number of road projects which we started with, and for purposes of time, I will be highlighting the key roads, not to the detail of every road that we have worked on.
Yes.
Key in Bugoye, we have the road that is Katoke Kayembe Road. It is us who opened it and graded it. We also have Katoke Nduuto Chihindi Road, which if you go there right now, you will appreciate and say yes.
That's interesting. My late uncle stayed in Nduuto.
Yes. And you'll appreciate and say yes, this is something that is tangible and seen. Then we are the first leader to undertake the grading of Bugoye Muhambo Road. And then we also have the road that connects Chanya with Vikone. We also worked on this road of Chanya Nyambuko. We have also worked on this road of Mariba, that is in Katabkenene, up to Chitoko. Then we have also worked on the road from Mariba through Kihyo up to Chikongo in Uganda Town Council. We have also worked on the road from Chikonzo in Hima up to Kihyo. As I speak right now, we are also working on the road from Kihyo through Chitroma up to Nyangorongo. We have also worked on the road from Rwesande up through Chisodo up to Kabatunda. We have also worked on the road from Chitroma through Buhuhira up to Ntunga. We have also worked on the road from Chirabaho up to Butswa. We have also worked on the road from Kabatunda up to Kabikopo in Busibi. We have also had to create access in Wesum sub-county. Previously, there was no connectivity. From Kamwani in Wesumbu through Kaswa, Mbata, Magasa up to Kasangari. Before I joined Parliament, for us we did campaigns on foot because there was no road at all. There was no road network.
Wow.
We have also had to work on the road from Kagando in Wesum sub-county up to Kanyamia. We have also had to work on the road from Chatoka up to Choho Bridge. And I want to also refocus on that particular bridge of Choho. Previously, we had only 2 entry points into Kasese district. If you are coming to Kasese from Kampala or from Kabarole or from Mbarara side, you would only access Kasese through, for those from Mbarara route, we would only access Kasese through Katunguru Road, and therefore Katunguru Bridge, you'd not miss it in any circumstance. And for those coming through Kabarole, they would only access Kasese through Chikongo. I saw that this was gonna create a very, very critical tragedy. Yes. If we did not have any other bridge that would connect Kasese to the rest of the country. So I lobbied, and we had to erect a bridge in Wesumbu. In Wesumbu, on that is in Choho area. So now I am optimistic that one, in terms of business, in terms of security and economic productivity, that bridge in Choho is going to help the people and the communities in Kasese critically. I also want to go to student issues in terms of bursaries, in terms of scholarships. As I speak right now, we've had to support more than 5 engineers. 5 engineers? Yes, whom I can proudly talk about in my constituency. From one constituency? Yes. That's really an achievement. I can also proudly talk about 5 doctors. 5 medical doctors? Yes, 5 medical doctors. I can proudly talk about 2 pharmacists who are going to graduate very soon. You got them bursaries? I'm telling you, I picked them from senior 4 and took them to better schools, and they performed very well. That is a critical. I can proudly talk about over 20 students who have graduated in nursing, in midwifery, and general medicine. I can proudly talk about more than 5 teachers who have graduated. I can proudly talk about one food technologist who is right now even working. And I can also talk about a reasonable number of children, those whom I support in terms of bursaries. I can proudly talk about over 30 children. Wow. And I gonna see one thing in this, that once these children unite with their families and unite with the communities, there is gonna be reasonable transformation in Busongora County North. In terms of support to religious institutions, for the bursaries and scholarships which I have had to extend to the students, yes, I have also roofed a number of primary schools and a number of secondary schools. I provide them with iron sheets. You can talk about them in Bugoye, you can talk about them in Chitsuwamba sub-county, you can talk about them in Kabatunda town council, you can talk about them in the Buhira sub-county, you can talk about them in Mariba sub-county. And so all these efforts are geared towards building a very strong foundation for our education system within the constituency. Additionally, I've also had interventions in supporting libraries. I, for example, have supported establishment of a library in Kabatunda Town Council. It is based at the church. A public library. Yes, that's a unique intervention. It's based at the church. The Church of Uganda, that is St. Peter's Church in Kabatunda. And they have also had to establish another one in Mariba, at Mariba Archdeaconry. And they have also had to support Bugema University in Kasese municipality. This one here? Yes, that library that you see there, it is my effort. Wow. With the health sector, there are a number of interventions that we have had to undertake. For example, right now we are putting up a health center 3 in Wesumbu sub-county, and that health center is gonna cost more than 650 million. Wow. We also have another health center which I personally have constructed in Buhira sub-county in Bwendero. I constructed it with my own money, health center 2. and it is operational right now.
Wow.
We worked with Castle Sivendire Bigogo, the chairman LC5. After the construction, he had to make sure that the district deploys staff there. So they are working there. I have also had to put up another health center too in the Western sub-county in Mbata, which right now is at the roofing stage. I am done with the roofing, so I am going to the next step of plastering and also putting and fixing shutters there.
Yes.
Also, another perspective of health, I have supported a number of health centers with the mother's delivery beds. Where we have supported in that particular initiative the people of Hima, the people of Bugoye, the people of Mariba, the people of Wesumbu, and the people of Bohohira. We have had those interventions there. There are efforts that we also put on Omukati Health Center 3. We put some efforts there to make sure that we renovate some small structure where the mothers are now delivering from. So it has been categorized as now a maternity ward. Although so much as it is a small thing, but it gives dignity to our mothers, especially those ones who go to deliver, because previously they were mixing with the rest of the patients whenever they would go to deliver. And Bugoye Health Center 3 is also one of the health centers for which we have had some intervention. Previously, that health center didn't have power, and I personally poured my own money and made sure that that health center is connected to power. And as you recall, the people of Bugoye know, and the community in Kasese know, that in the past, that health center 3 of Bugoye did gut fire. And so I said, no, this mistake shouldn't happen twice, because they were simply using candles in that health center. So when I came in,
a trigger for fires.
Yes. When I came in, I had to make sure that it is connected, and now people can use power effectively. What I also need to put on record is the issue of godliness.
Yes.
I have a Christian background. I was born in the church, grew up in the church, and my first job was actually in the church. I worked in the bishop's office after graduating from Makerere.
Yes.
And with the churches in my constituency, be it mosques, be it SDA church, be it Anglican church, be it the Roman Catholic church, be it the Full Gospel church, and other faith-based organizations that are there, I can proudly tell you that I have had to extend support to these religious institutions by more than 80%.
Wow, we saw a church at Wizibwera with a door donated by you.
Yes.
Yeah.
You will barely go to any community and you find that I have not reached there. You'll barely will find it.
That we can.
So by more than 80%, I've had to support our churches, and that's why leaders must be followed up clearly. The issue of the town councils.
Okay.
I actually only found Hima Town Council
when you assumed office.
When I assumed office. So in Busongora County North, whenever someone will talk about town council, the only name that would surface in the minds of people would be Hima Town Council. So when I came in, I made sure I tilt the trend. How did I tilt the trend? I have had to lobby for 6 town councils.
Wow, that's amazing.
And these town councils include Ibandachanya Town Council, Mariba Town Council, Mubuku Town Council, Rugendabara Chikongo Town Council, Kitswamba Town Council, and Kabatunda Town Council. So when you add there the one that I found there, Hima, they are actually now in total of 7.
In one constituency.
And remember, in the entire district, we have 14 town councils.
Wow.
Out of the 14 town councils, Busongora County North
has
7 town councils.
That's quite an achievement.
And as you are aware, the budget for town councils are far more fetched than the budgets for sub-counties.
Okay.
So in my tenure of office, I've realized that if someone is to give you a local administrative unit, if you really want service delivery, you must focus on town councils, because the budget of one town council can closely match up the budget for 3 or 5 sub-counties.
Wow.
So if you have one town council, you are competing with people who have 5 sub-counties.
Wow.
And I see that is the way to go. I can proudly talk about creation of jobs, which are more than 520.
How did you count that?
Yes, the formula is clear. 4 secondary schools.
Okay.
Which I lobbied. Each of those secondary schools employs not less than 25 people. So the 4 secondary schools create jobs which come close to 100 plus.
Wow.
That is for the sector of education. Then when you come to the issue of town councils, their employment capacity is not less than 70 people.
Yes.
And so when you say 70 times 6, that is 420.
420.
420 plus 100.
That's 520.
520 plus.
They're self-explanatory.
When you add there the ones for the health centers that I'm putting up, and other interventions that, by the way, I have had to trigger.
Even these schools have multiplier effects. Suppliers.
Yes.
What? That kinds of work.
For those who are in school, for those who have completed school, I can be hopeful that they will reap something.
Yes. Wow. This is very, very interesting to learn. In an overview, what are those key areas you seek to act upon when elected to lead Osangara North as Member of Parliament in 2021?
I'm one of the best performing MPs, by the way.
Yeah, we saw the rankings.
In Parliament.
Yeah.
The rankings are very clear. They speak for themselves. And I have not held any position which is above the 5th.
We saw the rankings. They speak for themselves.
Yes, both in the constituency and in the legislative work and oversight work. So the constituency that I represent is proud that their representative can actually be among the best members of Parliament. And I can clearly tell you now Busongora County North is on the map. One principle for which I am seeking re-election is to have justice for our people.
Yes.
That is my first aspect for which I am seeking re-election. The justice that I'm talking about is emanating from the injustice that is being meted on us as a people of the Rwenzori sub-region. And look, I am saying everyone has a right to live. Everyone has a right to participate, be it in politics or socio-economic. It is the right of every Ugandan. And our 1995 constitution is very clear that everyone has a right to life. And when I see the injustice that is being meted on us as a people of this sub-region, particularly originating from the skirmishes of 2016, skirmishes of 2014, I see that our area needs a leader who can speak the voice of the people. And I have been bold on this, and I will continue to be very strict on it, to tell our tormentors, to tell government that we are not comfortable with the meting of injustice on us. Look, our cultural institution is the only one which has a cultural leader who is in prison. This has never happened in any government that this country of ours, Uganda, has witnessed right from the independence time. And so we are a unique community that needs unique strategies, that needs very critical interventions to make sure that our people are treated equally in the same vein with other communities in this country, so that those people who should not think and must not think that they are greater than others, that other people's lives matter and other people's lives don't matter. So I am working on that to make sure there is justice for everyone. And that's why, by the way, it's the genesis for which we had to go to ICC to say, no, look, government has done us a very, very big disservice by killing our people and by imprisoning our people who are over 200 on flimsy charges. So justice is what I am seeking for. Number two, we are a community that is in a corridor of national parks, that is in a corridor of Queen Elizabeth,
yes,
that is in a corridor of Mount Rwenzori, and yet our population is surging. And because there is that population surge, the need for land is also surging.
Yes, there's a pressure.
There's pressure on land. And so our communities need to have assurance that actually they can have access to land.
Yes.
And two, for those communities that already have occupied their pieces of land, should have guarantee that they are protected, that they are secure in their settlements on this land. Now, when we have this trend that people have that guarantee of settling on their land and not pushing them away, like they pushed the people on the lower lands of Kasese, in the Uganda area, in Hima here, they pushed them away. They pushed them away, and the majority of our people are landless.
Yes.
But I can clearly tell you that since I came in as a leader, there has not been any trends of pushing away people from their land, because I have been there to speak for them, and I will continue to speak for our people, so that they have access to land, and those who have their land should occupy it without any fear of contradiction. And that one brings us to the aspect of the split of Kasese district. Access to land, but also ownership of resources. I'm one of the people who believe strongly that when we are together, we become stronger.
Yeah, pamoja twaweza.
When we are together, we can do productive work. When we are together, we can move as a team. And once we are together, we can progress as a team. Looking at the segmentation of Kasese, for example, in terms of resource location, you realize that the resources within Kasese district, more than 90% is on the lower part of Kasese, in the lower part of the tarmac. And upstream, the tarmac, they are very scattered resources. So I want also to put it on record here that Kasese has oil reserves. And these oil reserves, from the records that I have from the Ministry of Energy, they are situated in a oil block called Nganji.
Oh!
Nganji block, it stretches from Queen Elizabeth National Park up to Kanungu. So,
up to Kanungu? Up to
Kanungu.
That's a very big stretch.
It's a very big stretch, and the people of Kasese should know that. And oil being one of the precious resources, natural resources, that's what also the people of Rwenzori should guard very jealously. They should guard it, and guard it jealously, if we must survive in the next 50 or 100 years. So you also look at cement in Hima. It is also on the lower side of the tarmac. Look at the national park, Queen Elizabeth National Park. It's on the lower side of the tarmac. Look at the gas in Chikorongo. It's also on the lower part. Look at our lakes, where we get the fish. It's on the lower side. Look at our salt lake in Katwe. It is on the lower side. And yet, in terms of numbers, when you look at the communities which are staying on the lower side of of Kasese vis-a-vis the ones that are staying on the upper side of Kasese, it is less than 5% of people.
Yes, majority of
the majority of 95% they stay in the mountains. But all of us, whether you are on the lower side or on the upper side, all of us deserve to have a clear and a better future. And so we have had to engage with the communities in terms of understanding the dynamics of one, whether the split of Kasese should be there or not. The majority of the people of Kasese believe that if the split of Kasese is vertical, they have no problem with that.
Yes,
because it would imply that the communities in the mountains would have also access to resources which are on the lower lands. And also communities on the lower lands would have access to resources that are in the mountains. Mountain Rwenzori.
It's a rich, it's a heritage.
Kirembe mines and other resources that we have. The people believe that the kind of split that is being proposed does not favor the people, the greater community of Kasese. How? Because the split that is being proposed is the horizontal one. And the horizontal one disadvantages communities who are on the upper side against the ones who are on the lower lands. And yet all of us need a future.
Yes.
So the people, the majority of the people in Kasese have said, if it is the horizontal one, the horizontal split, then that one should not be. And it is one of the vices for which I am standing up to say, yes, the views of our people is that we need a united Kasese and we need a joint prosperous Kasese so that each one of us can have a share on the resources which God gave us. And so, in my prospection, I foresee one thing, that I still stand with the voice of the people, that it's not the right time to split Kasese. Number 3, I want to up the number of town councils in my constituency.
Wow.
I want to also look at Katoke in Vugwe sub-county to be upgraded to town council status. And then also I'm looking at Chitoma in Vuhera sub-county. I also want it to be uplifted to town council status. Then there is also one in Wesumbu called Chatoka Kamwani, which I also want to be upgraded to town council status. Now, I am looking at this. I'm looking at this trajectory of 10 town councils. The trajectory of the 10 town councils is to the effect that when we have a town council in Katoke and Ibandachanya, Mariba, Mubuku, Hima, Rugendavara, Chitwamba, Chitoma, Kabatunda, and Chatoka, aware that each town council has a mandate to do tarmac. I am looking at 20 years from now. I gonna see that the people of Busongora North will no longer be talking about these Maram roads.
It will all be tarmac everywhere.
It will be looking at tarmac.
That's a great vision.
So that is the trajectory that I have in this. And by the way, don't forget that I started on the move together with our colleagues in the government members of parliament to have a city for Kasese.
A mineral city.
We said we propose that we have Kasese mineral city.
Wow.
And we are pursuing it. I can tell you, we will not relent on it until we get it.
Wow.
We are also looking at upgrading some town councils and merging them to have a municipality.
Oh.
So I am looking at a municipality in perspective, Kitswamba municipality, that will cover the areas of Gendavara Chikongo Town Council, Chitswamba Town Council, Chitswamba Sub-County, and Hima Town Council. Because when we have that conglomeration, I gonna see a very fundamental aspect in terms of service delivery, because the municipality budget is far fetched. than the town council ones. So since we have reached that level of town councils, we can now begin thinking of having a municipality. In terms of health sector, we have started on efforts of upgrading Bugoye Health Center 3 to Health Center 4. As I speak right now, the lobbying is in high gear. I managed to convince the Speaker of Parliament, the Right Honorable Rebecca Kadaga, to come to Bugoye Health Center 3. We came there, and I can tell you, we are not at zero. We are somewhere, because I want a balance within the constituency. That we have a health center 4 in Bugoye that will serve the people of Bugoye, Mariba, Mubuku, Ibanda Chanya. And then we also have a health center 4 of Resande that will serve Wesumbu, Buhohera, and Chabarungira areas, and Chitwamba. And I am also looking at another establishment of Health Center 3 in Buhohera sub-county, for which we have actually secured about 850 million.
Wow.
That is going to be constructed in Buhohera, so that they also have access to health services. So in terms of health, we want also to look at reinforcing the infrastructure of Kabatunda Health Center 3, so that it has reasonable infrastructure that can help the health workers to deliver their mandate.
Okay.
So we are looking at also possibility of constructing there a maternity ward.
Oh.
And these other isolated areas like Nyarukungu, I also have plans of putting up a health center 2 there in Nyarukungu. And by the way, for Bugoye Health Center 3, I've even started the contribution of community efforts, because the speaker did indicate that it would be fair for also the local communities to participate in the establishment of that infrastructure. So on behalf of the community, I had to start with mobilization of some funds, for which we have even delivered bricks there to start on the construction of the maternity ward in Bugoye Health Center 3. Okay. And in terms of education, I did put it, and so for purposes of emphasis, you refer to my earlier communication.
Yes.
And on the side of education, I still have an opening for bursaries and scholarships for our children, especially those who excel. Yeah. So that they work as an engine for the rest of the communities to say, yes, we have this number of professionals. I am interested in having a civilized and a well enlightened community. And in terms of roads, we want to look at one, maintenance of the existing roads. And some of the roads I have already put the request before government to be tarmacked. One of the roads that fits into my write-up is the one of Ngenda Bugoye Nyakalingijo Road. And the second one is Gendabara Kabatunda Kasangari Road. I have put it to the government that these 2 roads be considered under the tourism roads. Is one which connects Kayembe with Mapata. I am also looking at that road, how we could figure out a mechanism of opening up that route. Then I'm also looking at a connection of Chanya, Buhunga, and up to Chitoko, so that there is a link within the road network that we have so far worked on. Then I'm also looking at connecting fully Kabwiri with Nyangorongo, Ntunga, that is through Buhohera sub-county. Yes. And then Kanyamia. so that we have that stretch up, so that if someone is coming to Mariba,
yes,
you don't have to go down. They just connect up there in the mountains. So in terms of infrastructure, that's what we are looking at.
Okay.
And maintenance of existing roads, which I talked about, strengthening communities to do their own development, so that people don't expect that whatever is going to be done, the government has to do it. No.
Yes.
I am also working on that mechanism, and I can tell you, I know how I will pursue it.
Oh. And
right now, we are going to work on the expansion of Gendabara Kasangari Road, and also Ngenda Nyakalingijo Road, so that at least the road side should allow flow of traffic at least of 2 vehicles. So those are some of the issues that we are looking at. But also for HIMA, before I went to Parliament, you'd feel smoke and dust in HIMA, out of the HIMA factory of the cement production.
Yes, I remember those times.
Yes, but when I went to Parliament, I pushed the government to the extent that now you can have a clean HIMA.
Yes.
There's no more dust.
There's no more dust.
There's no more smoke. That is not really.
The air is cleaner now.
The skies are now clear. So the people of HIMA, we have had to save them of threats like cancer and other diseases that could undermine their health. And in terms of the agricultural communities, you know, there are communities which neighbor national parks. We as members of parliament, we lobbied government, and they are facing the national park.
Oh.
Yes, you have seen the face that is being erected.
Around
the Queen Elizabeth National Park, so that the communities do not have any interference, especially the farming communities, not have any interference
from the wildlife.
And in terms of electricity, I am looking at connecting those other areas that do not have power. And I have already done a mapping. I even brought engineers here from the Ministry of Energy. We have looked at areas which are not connected, right from Bugoye up to Wesumbu, and I can tell you we will be updating the communities in the due course on how far we have reached, because as I speak right now, they are now connecting Katoke, so the journey has already started. I also need to put it on record that I believe that God had a reason for positioning and creating us in places where we are. And one of the issues that I feel should be pushed, and for which I will participate, and for which I am participating, is to ensure that justice is done to our king, to our people.
So in conclusion, what is your concluding remark to the people of Busongora? It's recording of Busongora North constituency.
Busongora County North has actually had some milestones during my tenure of leadership.
Yes.
And those milestones can be seen from where I found the constituency, in terms of education, in terms of roads, in terms of health, in terms of electricity, and in terms of support to youth activities.
Yes.
For which I have even provided interventions like welding machines to the youths, and also supporting sports activities, including support to the youth teams by providing them with sports uniforms, and the schools, all the 25 secondary schools in my constituency. I have supported them in sports infrastructure.
Yes.
And so I am looking at a Kasese and the Busongora County North that is moving forward. Two, leadership is not about what you think. Leadership is about what we think
together.
And so I am trying to work within those confines that we must think together and progress together.
Okay.
Finally, I want to ask the people of Busongora County North to overwhelmingly go to the polls on the 14th of January 2021 and vote none other than William Nzoghu. And I can tell you, Mr. Kirindiro,
yes,
on the 14th of January 2021, I have traversed the entire constituency. We are going to win overwhelmingly.
Wow, that is very inspiring to hear, and I can only wish you the very best in your campaign. Thank you for joining us in the Know Your Candidate series.